Welcome to another episode of Data Analytics Chat. I'm the host, Ben Parker, a data recruiter and business founder. We're looking to provide insights and inspiration to the listeners. Today, we have an incredible guest, Parag Shrivastava, Head of Data and Analytics Portfolio, who is driving business outcomes for Hewlett Packard Enterprise. With a career spanning HP, McKesson and Deloitte, Parag has led data modernization, AI, and Gen AI solutions, delivering up to multi-million in business impact and leading large global teams. I'm sure his expertise will provide some great advice today. In this episode, we'll explore his career journey, how he got started, pivotal moments that shaped his career, and the strategies he's used to drive data and AI innovation on a global scale. So Parag, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ben. Looking forward. This is such an exciting platform. Really super excited.
Me too. You've got a great career, and I'm happy to share it with our listeners. So should we dive in then? Do you want to share your career journey and what's inspired your interest in this field?
Yes, Ben, I think this is a great question. And generally, so if I look at my career journey, it started from consulting and management consulting, where I was involved in solving the business problems for the customers. What it meant was several Fortune 500 organizations where they were having issues or performance or their main goal was to improve the performance of the business and how to drive the business growth. With that in mind, with business outcomes in mind, I started leveraging data and analytics for measuring the business performance. And that's what started my career journey. So leveraging data and analytics for improving the performance of the business was a core asset. Core foundation. Moving to the next area was about getting into McKesson, where I was really leading the global teams for the data and analytics solution development, architecture for again driving business performances growth, and now currently at HP Enterprise. So that has been my journey, if you were to say three-part journey, but primarily I would say in between, essentially bringing. The foundation of this whole thing has been bringing people, process, and technology together. And that has been one of the core mantras, if you will, where business performance, data analytics is one part of it, but you have to collaborate. You have to also at the same time set up the right processes so everyone can contribute, and then also apply the right technology. So that has been my career journey. Hoping this relates to the listeners who are on the call.
So did you, obviously now data is hot, it's in demand, everyone wants to get involved. Did you always anticipate to move into, was this your career goal when you were at education level, or was it you fall into it?
Yeah, no, actually I fell into this one because I did start more as a management consultant, but essentially you can say I did get into this because eventually it's the data that is super important in measuring our businesses. Like it said, right? The thing that we can improve is the thing that we can measure. And data gives that measuring capability, data analytics, and now AI. So that's where I got into this field.
Yeah. And obviously, so you moved to the US. How was that transition? Because obviously you moved to a new country. It's big challenges, different cultures.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural aspect is one of the things that comes into picture. But I was lucky to be. What I have seen is, especially in the technology field, I don't see a lot of different cultural difference because everybody is motivated or towards the same goal, which is driving to the success of the mission that we are on, right? So whether, and especially with global teams, what I have found is whether the person is in, let's say, is in India or Israel or United Kingdom or Canada, my team spans in many of these places there. But essentially, it's everybody comes together, and it's people who contribute too. So one of the fortunate things that I've seen in this industry is, especially the technology industry, is that people are driven and motivated towards a single goal, and a lot of cultural aspects don't come into picture. Having said that, it is important to do recognize the cultural differences that can be there, especially when managing global teams, because there are finer differences in which culture, to apply the right culture to get the best output from the team is super important.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think everywhere, worldwide is so diverse nowadays. I think with data, you need to be just on that constant learning curve, don't you, to keep learning? Because if you don't, obviously we've seen it, you fall behind, and yeah, obviously that's not the way to go. So, looking back, then, were there key moments that shaped your career?
Yes, I think I would say a few key moments have been, especially when I started, when I was at Deloitte at that point of time, I was consulting the healthcare customers and really driving the technology for improving the people's lives. I think that was one of the key moment in my career where like technology is helping out the people. So, for example, in healthcare, when if you are deploying the electronic health records, it is really improving people's lives. So those are the type of motivations that really help to further drive, or that further drove my interest into the field. And also realizing like how at McKesson is one of the world's largest pharmaceutical distribution chain, like 1/3 of the pharmacy, if you will consider in the United States or the whole North America or in Europe, it comes from McKesson supply chain. So making such a big impact into people's lives is a big differentiator. Now at HPE, one of our goals is we make people's life easier. Like HPE is providing, HPE is a HP Enterprise is a business-to-business B2B product provider providing networking and hybrid cloud solutions. But ultimately, it is the people's lives that improve. So making a difference to people, I think, is a very big aspect of what I do. And that motivates me.
Yeah, no, definitely think it's self-rewarding, isn't it? Like that sort of feel factor that makes you feel good. If you do, like, I guess it's what people like when impact charities or impact team members. I mean, it's so many different people. Everyone's got their own, motivations, haven't they, to out of life. So it's just making sure that that aligns with your career. Because if you don't align, you're not going to enjoy your job, really, are you?
Absolutely. Because I think there are few things in the career the leaders do need to do. One is sort of they have to obviously work with the people, process, and technology and bringing things together. But there are certain hard things that they need to do. One is like, for example, being a change agent. And many of your stakeholders sometimes will not want to change. They will want to do their things their own way. How do you really bring about the change? Sometimes it is not so pretty sometimes. So you have to bring that courage, you have to create that like collaboration and really bring that leader or the other members along. So I think having a bigger purpose really helps to do the right things for being a change agent, driving that cultural change, driving the technology change, sometimes leading the teams or the leaders have to stretch. So I think all these things will become easier if there is a more of a purpose assigned to it. And that will be like those were the like key moments in my career, having some kind of having that purpose assigned to what I'm doing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially, most companies know where they want to go. It's just that the squiggly bit in between getting A to B is the change element. Is because it's obviously it's not as straightforward as just making a change, because as soon as whatever you change is going to bring more challenges, and then you need to get another answer for it, and then it's sort of builds, doesn't it? And I mean, obviously, it's in the last couple of years, haven't we? Obviously, had the pandemic that impacted how the working environment. It does seem sometimes it's big events that happen that to make things change. But then obviously if you've got a strong leader that actually drives change to obviously get the best out of the business and the team, it's going to be more impactful across the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the key lessons that I have learned in change management is one is playing both ways. One is sort of like I being the change agent, but at the same time, like I personally play the role of being like a team, not like a leadership. I play like a teamship. And what that means is especially being collaborative with the other members of or other peers of mine or other stakeholders that are there. It's like when I'm driving like a data analytics project, it is a collective success. For example, if I'm the product that I launched for sales, it's data team that is involved. It's also like we deployed it on a Salesforce.com platform. So the Salesforce.com platform is involved. The users who were using it, the change team that was involved. So it's a very, very joint success. It is not just one leader's success. So creating that collaborative vision, I think I have seen that happening, that has helped me to drive the change. While inherently, I personally want to drive the change, but I'm taking other people's help and also giving credit to them to drive that particular change.
Yeah. Also, I mean, obviously, you got to give. I think when you get more sort of senior, I think you can't do it all. That's the problem, isn't it? You got to let people get on to do it. So it's that giving that autonomy to people just to get on and do it as well. Because obviously you can't do everything, can you? Obviously everyone's got their own agenda, how things can go. But obviously you've got to collaborate as a team to make sure everyone's aligned to obviously fulfill everyone's wants and needs, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing that perspective, everyone's perspective together really helps to drive the change. Agree.
Brilliant. So what's been your biggest challenge in your career? And I guess for the listeners, how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I think one of the key things I would say is, so we have obviously talked about like change management and and improving the business performance. The other challenge I would say is, and especially for data and AI leaders, is driving that last mile delivery, and especially wherever you are in that whole journey. I mean, if I were to take like 3 steps of this whole data analytics leadership, one is either you are driving data science and data engineering, or you're driving like the business relationship or understanding the whole business process and workflows, or you're driving the adoption curve to the business. In this mindset, like driving that last mile delivery is super important, especially making things simpler. And what I mean is focusing on clear messaging as to what we are developing, also presenting it in such a way that the information is easily consumable. In some cases, it might be that the information is, people don't know that this information is coming from the data and AI solutions. For example, like when we developed solution for personalization of content for people logging into a website or to the portals, it was more like the users will not know that there's a personalized content or personalized recommendation. They will first consent that, yes, they are okay to receive personalized product recommendation. But essentially, what comes on the page, what the whole magic that goes behind is not known to people. So essentially, what I would say is driving that last mile delivery, making sure we are following the right security, privacy, ethical considerations, making sure our solutions are rightly tested, bringing all that together, like robustness, the whole privacy, legal compliance, and also adoption, continuously ensuring that there is a good adoption. Those are the key things I would say that drive the last mile delivery. And driving last mile delivery is one of the key things I would say is the big challenge. The more people adopt your solution, the more people like your solution, the higher success rate you will have.
Nice. Oh, that's interesting. So would you say the last hurdle, like adoption, is where many companies struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some solutions struggle in that regard because suppose you've launched a solution for bringing customer insights. Are the people using it, continuously measuring it? Are the users having some concerns? Are they trusting the data? Are they trusting the information? Continuously measuring this, continuously seeing what kind of tickets they are raising, what kind of questions they are asking, continuously improving the adoption is one of the key things. So the reason I have emphasized on this particular aspect is that technology can be simpler, but its impact is really visible at the end user. And ultimately, we as data and AI technologists our ultimate goal is to improve either our business processes or do the new business model, but it's ultimately to improve the business or the lives of or the users who are running those businesses.
Okay. And then with this, have you learned the hard way? And I guess like how have you ensured that you get products or projects delivered? And I guess how have you overcome some of these challenges then? Because it's all a learning curve, isn't it? You're gonna end up, no matter what job you do, you are gonna. I mean, maybe fail is quite a hard word, but maybe just you're gonna have to learn to do it, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, I would say three things. Probably one is continuously partnering with the adoption team. Second is measuring the adoption. And third one is continual improvement. So whatever we are hearing from the adoption, whatever are the feedbacks that we are hearing, continuously improving it. Those are the key factors, I would say. That's a framework that I have used to really continuously improve the adoption. Like, for example,
I think reviewing is key. If you keep on top of reviewing your performance, you're going to just be aligned to where you want to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of people don't do it. Well, for me, I'm probably guilty of it. If in recent years I didn't do it, but no, recently start reviewing, and then obviously then you can see, actually, I need to improve here, X or Y, and then obviously you can kind of improve it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. So moving on to the next question then, and obviously it's a fast moving field. So what skills or traits have helped you stand out in industry and got to where you are today? So to leading large global teams.
Yeah, I think three skills I would say very important. One is the whole people and execution, like project execution aspect of things. Regardless, I mean, and I think our listeners will be in couple career paths. I believe one is they may be either in management career. Second is could be like as individual individual contributors. So if you are certainly in management, then the bringing that people aspect and executing those projects is a super important attribute. Regardless, I would say those who are in individual contributor capacity, they have a very big role to play. And I have personally acted in those capacity and made big differences because you can help drive the execution, you can help drive the change because organizations are looking for great people. So they are continuously looking. So with that in mind, what I would say is that having the first point being like continue to hone your people skills as well as project execution skills. I think that's important. Second, I would say is learn the business process because ultimately there are two aims of data and RI. One is going to be either we are completely changing the business model. Mm-hmm. For example, for example, at HPE, entire portfolio became as a service. And it's like the overall, so this is a big business model transformation. The other piece could be like, we are improving day-to-day operations or day-to-day lives. For example, like how invoices are processed or how catalogs are generated, how we are reading the documents, contracts mm-hmm. are happening. Can we use AI for some of those work? So regardless of where we are, learning those business processes helps because if we understand the business process as data and AI professionals, it's a good collaboration with some of our end users who will use the system, as well as we get their participation in the overall planning, execution, and also the adoption phase of it. So that's the second piece. Third piece is being relevant, staying relevant in technology. I think the more and more the technology field is evolving, we have to be relevant, I think, in some cases. Now, it could be based on like it could be like prompt engineering. That's what we do, and we learn it well, so we can improve our day-to-day lives and businesses. The other part is going more advanced, and how you even like somebody can say how I implement the models or how I can deploy the models. So I would say like it's a three phase journey of the skills: people and project execution. I think making sure that we are able to do that, business processes, and continuing to do it in technology. I think the good part is that staying like super motivated and remembering those key moments, if you will, whatever you are doing, how it is making difference to people's lives, can probably help as a North Star to to keep our heads focused on these kind of skill sets.
I guess there's obviously a lot of skills. How have you maintained or developed these skills? I mean, have you done more external courses or self-study? Because obviously in a minute, there's a lot people need to learn and stay. Obviously, there's constantly new technologies, new concepts coming up. So I guess how have you battled that challenge?
Three ways I have done it is, one is, good part is that many of the vendors, especially like, for example, in the data and AI field, you would say like vendors, some of the leading technologies have come up like Databricks, Snowflake, and like Azure, AWS, Google. Many of them are having their own events and also their own like courses that are available. Many of them, those courses are available not with much cost. So I would say like the self-learn, attending those vendor events. If there is some event that is happening in the place where you live, I think that could also be a good way to just learn it. Second, I would say is meeting with the right-minded people. I would think, especially because of what has happened since COVID times, our working styles have changed. I mean, many companies have adopted the hybrid model, but it's still quite a big chunk of work is still remote. So how do we really collaborate, meet people, find time to meet people, and just learn what they are doing? Because many times what is happening on the field will not be available in some of those courses. So I think that's the second piece. And third piece is, I would say, like just personally taking time to upskill, and it could be on like the platforms like mass online education programs, that one of those you could use, or you could use some of the other ones. But using that to upskill is super. It's very helpful.
And do you think the learning curve is like, when you started your career, do you think it's dramatically changed? Like nowadays, there's so much more to stay up to date with.
Yeah, I think I would say the learning curve, I would say, is not changed. I think the pace of learning has changed a little bit, and especially learning has become more fast now. So, for example, new models are coming, like you could say, like new LLM models are being released as we talk, right? And yesterday I was reading some LinkedIn article, like somebody was like 40 plus, more than 40 changes happened in the last 1 week on LLM
Crazy
world. So I think you can think about like changes are happening as we speak. So speed of changes is very fast. I think one of my practical advice to especially like to the members would be, find their own strength. I think depending on where you are in career, probably the answer depends. So if I were to say, like, if I were to divide the professionals into two categories, like early career members as well, and second one is experienced members. For early career, I would definitely recommend like jump in and like do what is really required. Like you have not much to lose, right? I mean, it's like a lot of learning, or you can start from the ground up. For experienced professionals, I personally think that starting with the strengths is a better idea. And but the pace of learning is consistent in both places. The experienced professionals have grown based on certain experiences, so they can continue to hone on their strength and build their strength in data and AI.
Mm.
The early career have a lot of things to explore.
Yeah, I think like nowadays, there's technology. You've got so much choice now, haven't you? Like, I mean, it's not, you don't have to go to a library. It's like, it's just got to go on your phone or a laptop, haven't you? And just do a search and it's easier, quicker. I guess it's just, being strategic about what you're learning, because if you're taking in all too much and you're not going to keep it all, are you? You need to, I guess, have a structured process into how you're going to learn the different technologies, and like you said, like we say, like stick to your strengths, because then if you're building the strengths, then you can add other topics further down the line.
Absolutely. And I think being strategic is very important. And that's why my thought process, like people who are experienced, because they will know their strengths well. Some people will do great in like running and executing projects. Some people will do great in combining business and technology. Some people will find a lot of good skills in people and adoption, and some people find a lot of good skills in technology. So depending on where is the strength area is, I think it's great to just continue honing on it with respect to AI. And I think that because all those roles are super critical, and if they are all augmented with AI knowledge and data knowledge, the careers will fly high.
Yeah, I mean, you need to stick to your strengths, because I think a lot of people get pushed into like leadership roles because they excel in like being a technical expert. But obviously, when you progress, that's more into like, obviously not everyone's perfect at everything. Like you can't, if you're a technical expert, you're not necessarily going to be a great people manager or have the people skills, because that's completely new area, isn't it? Obviously, you're dealing with people, then you're dealing with empathy. You're dealing with more emotions. That's a completely different skill set to being technical, isn't it?
Yeah, no, totally agree. But I would say these days, as I see, even if I would not differentiate between those skills, especially like leadership, empathy, compassion, sometimes like taking the right action. I think everybody should try to do that, especially because the teams are very geographically like so far apart, right? Suppose if I'm working with somebody in, let's say, somebody in London, I'm right now somebody sitting like 9 hours away and looking at like, I'm like almost several thousand miles away from them. So it's in that kind of an environment, like those empathy, compassion, people skills, super important. I think that is one like core skills everybody should continue. Now, depending on their career interest, they may continue to do deep research, which is great, and not like be the people manager or program executor, which is good because I think those members are needed, highly needed. So, but on the other side, like those who are running the programs, running the projects, for them, it is essentially basic skill. So I would say like, super important to have those soft skills. But again, after that, you can have your strengths that you have particularly.
Yeah, brilliant, like that. So have you ever faced a major career setback or failure? And what did you learn from it?
Yes, I think that's a great question. One of the key things, key career point that I learned from a lot was a project that I was executing at a major health system. The chief officers of the health system, in one of the meetings, they mentioned to me like, it looks like we are not having the right members on the team, especially looking like somebody who understands deep healthcare knowledge. We are having technologists, but not deep healthcare. And I tried to bring that expertise, but more from a technology standpoint. I should have probed a little bit more into that particular scenario and get some of the healthcare experts immediately, because healthcare is very, very specific domain. And many times data and technologists, technology people may not understand that some of those particular areas, especially when connecting with like chief medical officer or chief chief operating officer and other members. So with that regard in mind, I took some time before I got the right team in. In the hindsight, I should have got all the members early upfront. The lesson that I learned, especially from that moment, was listening, continuing to listen, like what our stakeholders are saying, and making sure that their views are heard and actions are taken immediately. So that is one area I would say, like continuing to listen to the stakeholders, listen to the pulse, not only what somebody just said or somebody wrote, but also probing and asking questions, because sometimes people may not say, but to improve the data and AI adoption, data and AI products, it's important that we continue to hear the customer voice of customer is super important. So I would say that has been, from there on, my goal is continuously to improve, hear the voice of customer, continuously measuring the NPS, Net Promoter Score, and ensuring that people are indeed using the services that we are indeed using the platforms and data that we are providing, or AI services. Or second is they are indeed happy with it. So having the dialogue, having that communication is super important.
Yeah, no, I think the soft skills can easily be overlooked, can't they? Especially in the technical environment, because I think there's obviously lots to be maintained about, but actually listening and I guess asking the right questions too, like whether it's your clients, your team members, just to get their opinions, I think is massive. And then actually making the right changes is going to help you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think because we live, I think if as professionals, we live in a very interdependent world, right? Which what I mean is the needs come from users. There are teams that work with users. There are teams that implement data technology. There are teams that are implementing digital applications. So combining all this together, just listening all the stakeholders is super important. Sometimes it can even come from the chief operating officer or the chief information officer, where they want to look at information in such a way, or it can come from the very, very senior execs. They want to look at information in such a way to make decisions. So understanding the senior executive perspective, understanding the team's perspective, because teams may be facing certain problems, especially when they are implementing technology. The platform is not working, the data is not right, or the data contracts with different app systems haven't been set up correctly. All these kind of things that can happen on the team level. Sometimes at the peer level, it's more about like, how do we collaborate? So listening to them. So bringing all the things together, certainly I've seen it. One good things that happen, just keep listening.
Yeah, and I guess obviously like you obviously manage small teams and then to global teams. How do you keep on track of all that?
Yeah, I think
it's a lot more work now. And when you manage larger teams, obviously it's a lot more work, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think totally agree. I think one of the key success factors I have seen. So two ways in which leaders that I have proceeded in managing the global teams. One is at my team levels, peer levels, like you can say, or different teams. For example, if I'm running the data and AI team, but somebody else is running digital applications team, or change management team, or business operations team. Having the teamship view at the leadership level really helps, because it brings the collective leadership together. Second one, at the team level, it's important that we divvy up the work in smaller chunks and continue to deliver it in small sprints. And the agile principles and also the like running those scrums, the sprints, I have found them like super helpful, because teams, whether it's global, right? For example, somebody is in Bangalore, India, somebody is in London, UK, in Canada, Toronto, Houston. Now they are all coming together. They are working on the things. As long as they know this is my target for the next 2 weeks of a sprint, or and this is what I'm going to do after 2 weeks, after 2 weeks. So creating that whole plan and running the agile process, I think, is super helpful, because that eliminates many of those cultural barriers or many of those like non-specific items that you may be having, like some of the things, like, for example, it removes the unclarity, because now you have a very tangible, measurable work unit, and then you can deliver on it. So I have found those following the agile process and having the team really work on it, multiple agile teams continuing to work on the projects, programs, I think that I have found that super helpful. The other piece I would say is also about people leadership. So recognizing the culture of each and every area, and also being thoughtful about it as we deal with some of our direct reports from different countries, is also very helpful, because each and every country, each and every region has different culture. So being very sensitive to it, but making sure that everybody is aligned to a single goal, which is to improve our stakeholders, businesses, stakeholders, and help them out. So I think if we are all aligned to that, I think that helps.
Yeah, like you say, obviously, a lot of businesses now are, or agile is obviously gained a lot more popularity over the years. Do you think that allows people to get here? I guess everyone to get a voice, because sometimes people can go under the radar. Do you think it allows everyone to share their insights, where they're at, better?
Yeah, I think that is super important, because that agile process really helps. People have the voice. People have to speak a little bit on the Scrum. So they have to come prepared. They have to speak what they have done, what they are planning to do. Bring
no slacking.
Yes. I think, and they really, I mean, I think at the same time, they are fully empowered to make decisions on their level. So one of the other thing is 3-month ceremonies that we generally continue to do in agile cycles. So where the planning for 3-month incrementals occur. So doing those type of planning where users can come in, or the leaders, the members can come in, everybody can express their own views, agree to the stories, agree to the estimations, agree to the effort, and then go back and do the work. I think this makes everybody feel more being part of the team, as well as their voices being heard. So I think keeping it very open is very important.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's that collaboration element, isn't it? You feel like you're part of a team, not just working.
Absolutely.
So what, obviously, like I mentioned, a lot of people are obviously looking to break into the industry. What career advice would you give someone starting their search today?
Yeah, I think I would say, in particular, I would say, like, one great part about data and AI is that there are many areas in which anybody who's listening to this podcast, they can get in. It's a very good news. I mean, and you can get in from the area of your strength. I think that's all I would say. One is you can obviously get into the technology, deep technology. So that's one. Second one, you can always get into like running and executing projects at a hyper speed, because companies are looking for those dynamic leaders who can bring that speed into their execution, resolve blockers. You can do that. Third is the overall implementing this data and AI into businesses is another very important. So if somebody is able to connect the dots, like how the opportunity is transferred to an order, and how that order gets fulfilled, or how that finance works. If somebody is more interested in business, then obviously they can go into that and apply data and AI there. So finally, like if somebody is a people leader or people change manager, they can really work with the end users and make their difference. I think the net is that there are many avenues in which we can get in and learn the different aspects related to our work. Good part is that industry is looking for people who are highly motivated, highly committed, and excited. So it's a great news for everyone. I think there is a tremendous scope in data and AI, and increasing every day. I mean, the way I think personally is that our work is going to change. Like it's almost like industrial revolution type of a movement. Because when machines came, we started doing some other work. Now AI has come. Probably in the next 5 to 10 years, we will do more enhanced work. So it is definitely game changing. But the good news is that there are several avenues to just get the foot in.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's some brilliant advice there for listeners. So to end then, let's end on a positive note. Is there a particular achievement you're most proud of in your career?
Yeah, I think I would say many achievements you can say. It's not my achievement personally. I mean, I would say like it's the team's achievement and also my peers' achievement. So, but certainly from my previous organization, being successfully laying the foundation for a joint venture, which was a very, very big joint venture between McKesson and Walmart. The data analytics foundation for that, building it, putting the architecture was one of the very good ones. One of the highlighted moment I saw, like when two big companies are coming together and they're really like changing the way pharmacy happens. Second one is at HP Enterprise, being part of this transformation in different positions, where HP converted their entire portfolio of networking, hybrid cloud storage, and compute and AI infrastructure to offer as a service, and applying all those data analytics and digital practices for improving this particular, like doing this transformation has been a big moment for me. So I think those are some big achievements, I would say. Along with that, helping some of my team members grow and help them feel more confident, I would say is another big achievement. And I think I can proudly say that many of them are fairly good big leaders. They manage their own things, and it's great to see, great to achieve ourselves as well as helping others grow in my surroundings is the one thing that I'm thinking as an achievement.
That's great to hear, and obviously it sounds like you're a person definitely wants to make impact, obviously to yourself, but also to others and obviously employers as well. I guess should have maybe asked it earlier. Did you, when you first started your career, did you always want to be a leader? Or do you think you think you fell into it, or do you think you developed these skills? Because I guess a part of any role you've probably got, there is an element to leadership, isn't there? Like whether you're leading men, juniors, or but I guess to actually lead large global teams. Did you think that would be you when you first started your journey?
No, I think this leadership came to me. It kept coming to me. I mean, I think I started as the individual contributor, and then I continued to get that leadership in. But yeah, I mean, I think, and I'm happy ultimately. I mean, I consider as a leader, I run big teams right now, but as a leader, I think that's not the only definition of leader. In some cases, I have acted as individual contributor, and that's also a very big step of leadership. Whatever we do, if we are taking leadership in our roles, I think that's a leadership in my mind. Like doing our best, going deep, providing insights which people are looking for. I think that's a big step in leadership.
Amazing, cool. And it's been a pleasure having you on, obviously, and be proud of your career and the impact you've made. Thank you for your time, Parag.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for hosting a wonderful podcast. I mean, I think this was phenomenal and great conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you.